Good evening, students. Today we are going to do reading passages, and we have already completed the purpose of the passage, the central theme and the style and tone. And today we are going to see a complete passage around how you will have on an SAT test, and you will also see how you have to attempt the test, how you have to eliminate the options that is given. So stay tuned, and we are going to do a lot of things. Let's start. So what is it that you're looking for when you're looking at a passage? Is we need to understand that you just have 12 minutes to complete 10 questions. So now when you have just 12 minutes to complete a question, what is the kind of an efficacy that you should be having so that we can just scroll by or glide? Okay, so that's about, I have taken a passage. I have also given the questions here. This is exactly how even on the SAT you will have your question paper like this. So it will be easier for you to look for the questions, to look at the questions and then search for your answers. So that's how I have made this thing about. So let's see. I've taken a very a nice topic so that you can actually enjoy. I would not be on the screen because I will be blocking your way, so I will be out of the screen so that you can see both the passages and the questions, types of questions. I would just keep coming in, whenever it is needed. Okay, so now for the beginning, we have this passage. Now this is going to be divided. Each passage, see this here, it's going to be divided. It's going to be divided in five. It's going to be divided on number 5. See, there's a 5 here, and then you have a 10 here, and then you have a the numbers will go on and so forth, so that you can see the numbers. The passage, the whole structure is divided in rows of 5s. That is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and you would see that the question numbers. Yes, you don't have the question number here, a line number here, but you will have the line number also. So whenever you see a line number, you can just go straight. So for example, I have a 5 here. I hope it is visible. I have a 5 here, and the moment I see that, and I have something called 6, I just have to go and tap it here. So that is how I'm going to get the answer. So I would not block your way. I would just. Okay. So we're going to talk about something about Spinosaurus. Now we are going to have a history about them, and what we are going to do is we are going to read. Now they are not going to be paragraphs, as I have always told you that break the paragraphs and read the first 2 lines of the paragraphs and the last 2 lines of the paragraphs. It is not possible here because the paragraphs are pretty long, and for the convenience of the students, the lines, the sentences have been broken down into lines of 5, and the spacing also, see, you will not see more than 8 to 9 words in a line. So that makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you just have 8 words. And in the second line you just have 6 words, so it is going to be smaller because you also have to fit the questions also. So comparatively it is smaller lines. So they have been divided in groups of 5s, and if you don't we have to understand how the passage goes. As I have told you before also, it is your your interest whether you would want to read the passage first or read the questions first. Many students have this habit of reading the question first, so I would not tell you whether what you would want, what you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. So I would not talk on that. I would rather leave it to your jurisdiction as to which one you would want to take. Now once a passage is given, what you have to do is, though I will not tell you whether to follow this strategy and you are going to ace it, I would definitely tell you, please make your flowchart. Flowchart is really important. What this helps you is, you will have some idea See, listen, if I take a long time to read the whole passage, minimum of 10 minutes, and then I go bounce to the questions, and then when I bounce to the questions, I again, bounce back to the passage, and I look for the question answers there. So nearly 15 to 20 minutes it would complete to complete my 10 questions, whereas I only have 65 minutes and I have to complete 5 passages, that is with 52 questions. So it is not going to be easier, and there would be something like a speech or a literature passage which is going to eat away your time and you are just going to be hung up there. So I would not take that risk. So what I preferably ask you is count the numbers of, read the first 2 lines and then read the 10th line, 10, 11 lines, and then go again read the 21, 22 lines. So on an intervals of 10, if you read, you will have a gist about what the paragraph would mean. I'll tell you how this really works when we can actually work on a passage, and I can tell you that how sometimes it just doesn't work. I mean, especially if it is, it's going to give you lots of information. Even the scientific passages, they give you so much of information that you will be bogged down as to understand as to what you should keep and what you should leave. So the point is not to memorize the passage. We are not going to memorize the passage. We are just going to read the passage. And reading also, you might not remember the points. So you have the flexibility. I mean, you have the, option to tick something, or if I have a name here, so I could just underline it. That is going to be better. I mean, that is going to be really better. And you can also remember it. So once you have underlined it, so you have a thought that yes, you might have to go there. So follow a flow chart. I generally say that you read some 10 lines and write a small note here, and then you go and read another 10 lines and you write a small note there. Don't write 4 sentences again. We are not looking at that. We are just looking for 3-4 words to understand what is the topic about. Reading the first 2 lines, you will definitely understand what is the topic is going to be about. So I don't think that is a matter of worry. The only thing that matters is after the 10th line, you have to make a small note so that it will help you bounce back or understand what is it all about, especially to answer questions like purpose of the passage, what is the style and tone, or the central theme. It really requires some work. So we are going to do this flowchart thing, because with the moment they say central theme, we can't afford to read the whole passage and then tell you what is the central theme, but rather we would just have this flowchart with us, and then we will try to guess what kind of an answer it would need. So let's go to the question. Please, I'll also tell you what kind of questions each one is. We have already spoken about the different kinds of questions and the techniques that we are going to use. So stay tuned. We discussed about 5 types of questions. One is the vocabulary based question. The second is the purpose of the passage question or summary based question. In summary based question, you will also have the central theme of the passage, the purpose of the passage. They are all summary based questions. And the third one is the paired questions, where you will have two questions. They come in a pair. Either you can attempt the second one and go to the first one, or you can attempt the first one and go to the second one. Okay. Then you have the factual questions. Factual questions is you just have to go to the line number and then you have to find the answers. And then you have the inference based questions, or how it concluded and stuff like that. So let's see what kind of questions we are going to encounter here, and then we'll go about. We are not here to answer the paper. We are here to eliminate the wrong choice options. So please, we are not searching for the right answers. We are just narrowing down the options so that we can find the right answer. Is it clear? So please, students, if you are looking at trying to answer the questions on the screen or stuff, we are not doing that. We are basically eliminating the wrong options. Eliminating the options so that we can click on the right one. Okay. So let's start. We have the question, which of the following best summarizes the central idea of this passage? We have these 4 options. So before that, I would like you to, we'll just read the passage once, because this is the first time that we are doing a complete passage. So let's read the passage first and understand, make a small flow chart also, and let's see how we go about it. Okay, at long last, paleontologists have solved a century-old mystery, piecing together information discovered by scientists from different times and places. Now, the moment you talk about paleontologists, okay, if all those who don't know about paleontology, they basically dig out fossils and stuff like that, and they try to determine what is it and all that stuff. Okay, so let's read the first paragraph till 5 lines that will really help us. Okay, so we are talking about the paleontologist and we are talking about Stromer. Let's see what is it about Stromer. Now this paleontology, and you will always see that this paleontologists talk about fossils. They read fossils, especially about animals and plants. So basically, they discover fossils and then they try to study whether it's a human being or basically in animals. We are also animals. So whether it's an animal or a plant or how far it goes and stuff like that. So that is about paleontology. And the mystery began when in 1911 a German paleontologist, Ernst Stromer, discovered the first evidence of dinosaurs having lived in Egypt. So now here we are talking about Dinosaurus. Please underline Dinosaurus. Stromer, who expected to encounter fossils of early mammals, instead found bones that dated back to the Cretaceous period, some 97 to 112 million years prior. Okay, so now we are talking about, I mean, that means he found the first evidence of dinosaurs in 1911. So please make a note of it, or just keep it at the back of your mind. We might sometimes feel that keeping at the back of my mind is easier, but trust me, I vouch for it. We generally forget. We are going to forget. So it's my experience, with the experience I'm telling you. Okay, so let's make a small note if it is possible. So in the first paragraph, in the first 10 lines, let's see what are we going to write. Okay, so we are talking about, now if you don't want to make a note, you could just make a note here, and then you could talk about the first evidence of dinosaurs. This is going to be your first, flow chart. So we are going to talk about that. And then this is really important. Okay, so this is okay for the first one. So let's go to the next one. Now, his findings consisted of 3 large bones which he preserved and transported back to Germany for examination. After careful consideration, he announced that he had discovered a new genus of sauropod, or a large 4-legged herbivore with, let's go to the next slide, a large long neck. He called the genus Agripotosaurus, which is Greek for Egyptian lizard. One of these Agripotosaurus, he claimed, was a Spinosaurus. Tragically, the fossil that supported his claim were destroyed during a raid on Munich by the Royal Air Force during World War II. So the first thing that we have to understand here is that we have already got something, and what we have to what we have to underline here for the second paragraph is, because the flow chart is from 1 to 10 and 10 to 20. So in 1 to 10 we have said that there is someone called a paleontologist called Ernst Stromer who have got some fossils, and then they were the evidence of first dinosaurs, the first evidence of dinosaurs, and then we have given a small hint about them to be around 97 to 112 millions ago. So that is the basic thing for the first flow chart. So what is it for the second flow chart? Now in the second flow chart we need to understand that those fossils were basically considered to be Spinosaurus. Yes, we have just put it that way. They were basically transported from Egypt to Germany, right? But here we have to understand that they were destroyed. So what is this important thing in this part is that destroyed is one word that is important, and raid on Munich by the Royal Air Force during Second World War II is important. So that should go for the second flow chart. And that should go for the notes for the second lines, I mean second part. So now let's go to the third one. This time we are not reading the complete passage. We are just this time we are reading, we are reading the complete passage. We are not going to read in sentences of tense, intervals of tense, because this is the first time that we are doing a passage and we are working on to understand how much time it actually takes for us if you read the complete passage and then bounce back to the questions and then answer the questions, and too much of it. So let's see, we are going to read the complete passage for this time. I'm going to tell you how you can make the flow chart. So let's do it. So the third one is, it was not until now the wild scientific world was left with Stromer's notes and sketches, but no hard evidence that the Spinosaurus ever existed. It was not until 2008. Now from here we start the third part of tense where we will make a note. It was not until 2008 when a cardboard box of bones was delivered to paleontologist Nizar Ibrahim by a nomad in Morocco's Sahara Desert. That a clue to solving the mystery was revealed. Intrigued, Ibrahim took the bones to a university in Casablanca for further study. One specific bone struck him as interesting as it contained a red line coursing through. Now here, in this, we are going to make notes that it was delivered to Nizar Ibrahim. This line is important in this. So it was lost in a raid, and they got it in the Morocco Sahara Desert. This is very important. So and that is what is important for here. It was delivered to Nizar Ibrahim and it was found in Morocco Sahara Desert. So this is what is important in this part. So from here, here what we need to understand, we also read the other day, what to read is very important. Not to read, but what to read is very important. So please understand that we don't need every word in the passage. We need some specific words that are going to be our lamppost words, or that are going to be our torchbearers of how to solve our answer. Okay, so we are talking about a red line here, so we are going to underline a red line also. Okay, so but it's not going to be it's going to be a part of the next paragraph, not this. Okay, now we are talking about the red line. The following year, Ibrahim and his colleagues at Italy's Milan Natural History Museum were looking at bones that resembled the ones delivered the year before. An important clue was hidden in the cross section they were examining, as it contained the same red line Ibrahim had seen in Morocco. Against all odds, the Italians were studying bones that belonged to the very same skeleton as the bones Ibrahim received in the desert. Together, these bones make up the partial skeleton of the very first Spinosaurus that humans have been able to discover since Stromer's fossils were destroyed. So it was not only Stromer. After that, also we have many other people who have got the other parts of the same Spinosaur, or the same what is it called? They got the same the animals, the Spinosaurus further bones. Okay, and they were already studying in Italy. So that is about 30 to 40. And here what are we going to? In this part, we need to understand what are we going to highlight, and in this part, we are going to highlight that colleagues at Italian Natural History Museum were looking at bones that carried the same red line. Okay, so that is what is very important. This is what is important. Clear? Okay, now let's go to the next one. Now here Ibrahim and his colleagues published a study describing the features of the dinosaur which point to the Spinosaurus being the first known swimming dinosaur. So now here it is going to be till here. Now we are going to talk about how the Spinosaurus are different from dinosaurs. So here we are going to talk about at 36 feet long. This particular Spinosaurus had long front legs and short back legs. Each was pedal-shaped foot and claws that suggest a carnivorous diet. Okay, these features made the dinosaur a deft swimmer and excellent hunter, able to prey on large river fish. Okay, so now here these features made the dinosaur. So here we are going to talk about the deftness or how expert they were, and here we are going to talk about the features of the Spinosaur. Now this is a part of dinosaur, so they have used dinosaur here. So okay, so they are not at all comparing, they are just talking about the deftness of this Spinosaur. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. Scientists also discovered several aquatic adaptations that made a Spinosaur unique compared to dinosaurs that lived on land but ate fish. So we need to understand, we are going to make it here for this part. So similar to a crocodile, the Spinosaur had a long snot with nostrils positioned so that the dinosaur could breathe, while part of its head was submerged in water. Unlike predatory land dinosaurs, the Spinosaurus had powerful four-leg front legs. The weight of these legs would have made walking upright like a Tyrannosaurus, difficult or something like that. So we are going to talk about this now. So this is again the features of the dinosaur that we are talking about and how it resembles a crocodile. Croc. Okay, it resembles a croc, about how it is going to be and that stuff like that. Okay, so this is about this. So now I hope this is understood, and let's go to the next paragraph. Yes. Okay, so now we are talking about Tyrannosaurus rex impossible, but in water their strong legs gave the Spinosaurus the power it needed to swim quickly and hunt fiercely because of the strong, powerful front legs. Most notable though was the discovery of the Spinosaurus massive sail made up of dorsal spines. Now it's talking about the back, the tail, and whatever is the body. They're talking about that. The sail was mostly meant for display and did not serve a purpose of its own. Ibrahim and his fellow researchers used both modern digital modeling programs and Stromer's basic sketches to create and mount a life-size replica of the Spinosaurus sketches. The sketches gave them, so this is about till here, I think that was done. Here we are talking about the discovery of the Spinosaurus massive sail, though it was of no use, but still they use it. And now they created a life-size replica of the Spinosaurus skeleton. They were talking about this Spinosaurus massive sail, though it was made up of dorsal spines and all that, but basically it had no much purpose of its own, is what it says. So let's go to the next part, next slide. Now when we are going to talk about the next slide, let's see what it has. Now display and did not serve a purpose of its own. Ibrahim and his fellow researchers used both modern, okay, we brought down that part so that we can read it here. Used both modern digital modeling programs and Stromer's basic sketches to create and mount a life-size replica of the Spinosaurus skeleton. The sketches gave them a starting point, and by arranging and rearranging the excavated fossils they had in their possession, they were able to use technology to piece together hypothetical bone structure until the mystery of this semi-aquatic dinosaur finally emerged from the murky depths of the past. Okay, so they have done this. Ibrahim and his fellow researchers used both. They have used this to make sure that they gave a structure and they gave a pattern and stuff like that. So now we are going to understand what has happened here. So we are going to give a hypothetical bone structure. Clear? So this is about the whole thing. Now you have questions, almost 10 questions for you to answer, and let's start from the beginning. Yeah, let's start from the beginning. So we're going to try to answer the questions. Let's see what kind of questions we have. We have seen the passage now. We are going to discuss about the questions now. So now we are talking about the central idea of the passage here. We are talking about the central idea of the passage. So what we are going to do, the flow chart is really going to help us in this kind of questions. So please understand that whenever we have a this kind of a question, we need to understand, we need to check first whether it has a paired question. Generally, when you have this kind of questions, you generally have a paired question. Let's have a quick look and check at whether you have a paired question with this. What are the use if you have a paired question, or the advantage if you have a paired question? I'll tell you. Whenever you have a paired question, there is a general question like this, and then in the second question, they'll give you line numbers where you will have to go and check those. If you check those line numbers, you're going to get the answer. Even if you have not made your flow chart, I mean you are too lazy to make it, you could still have some idea about where you get your answer. Let's check whether we have line numbers for this or a paired question for this. No, we don't have a paired question for this. So understand that this is a single standing question that you have to answer. You have to make a flow chart. So these are some of the things that you have to check before confirming that you will have to what strategy that are you going to use? Are you going to create a flow chart or not? Okay, so let's check the next question. According to the passage, the fossils Stromer found in the Egyptian desert were. Now, this is again a single question and basically a factual question. We discussed about the first one, the central theme of the passage question. They are basically summary based. So making a flow chart is mandatory, otherwise you're going to waste your time trying to find the answer. This is a factual question. You have to just go down and you have to check that line numbers are not given, so it is going to be difficult for you if you had not underlined the things, right? So we have, remember that we have underlined, here. So this is the answer that you are going to do for the second one question. So please always understand which is going to those pieces of information that are really important. Let's go to the third question. Now see, based on the information in the passage, the author would most likely agree that. Now again, whenever you are going to have person, purpose of the passage question, or a central theme question, or based on the information in the passage question, you might have a paired question with this. So let's go and check the paired questions first if you have, otherwise we will try to make the answer. See, this is a paired question, right? You have the line numbers here. You have the line numbers here. So, if at all you are not able to answer the before question, trying to understand, what you can do is you can come down to this question. You can just go to the individual line numbers and try to find your answer. Once you find your answer, immediately you will also understand which answer is, what is the answer for the previous question. You can do the same the other way around also. You can first complete the first question and then come to the second question. But for all the beginners, I would suggest go to the second question, see the line numbers and find your answer, and then go back to the previous question. That is going to be really helpful. Now let's go to the second question after this. So, as generally you have this purpose of the passage questions or central theme questions or based on the information questions, they definitely come in pairs. So, please, if you have a pair, you are lucky. The chances are that you can have both the questions right. The next one, see the next one here, you have a line number. The moment you have a line number, you can feel yourself blessed. You just have to go back to the line number. Now this talks about line number 36. So we are going to come here, check the line number 36 that we are going to have here, and then we are going to read. But whenever you have a line number, make sure to read 2 lines above it and 2 lines below it. So you are going to read line number 34 and 35, and the 36 is any which way is there. Then you are also going to read line number 37 and 38 to receive the prompt answer. So guys, this is called a factual question. Here you have to scan, you have to go to that particular line number, and then you have to go 2 steps ahead and start reading it from there, and then you cannot stop at line number 36. You have to proceed down and complete until you have reached line number 38. Clear? So now let's go to the next question. Now you have the question here. So what you have to do is you have to see the phrase and then against all odds. So you have to understand where did that against all odds go. You have to underline this, and then you have to find your answer for the question number 5. Let's go to the next question. The author uses the phrases deft swimmer and excellent hunter in lines 48 and 49 to see. Now, this is also again a very very clear question, where you just have to go to line number 48 and 49. See here, you have line number 48 to 49. So you would search and see this line number. Yes, you already had this line number 48 and 49. So now you are going to understand what did it mean. Same rule applies. You will go 2 lines above, that is 46, 47, 48, 49, any which ways you have to read, and then come down and read 50 and 51. Then your search is complete and probably you will get the right answer. Okay. So now let's go and see the 7th question. The information presented in the passage strongly suggests that Ibrahim was working on this. Now, whenever you have questions like this, you might generally be lucky and you might not, you might encounter a paired question. Let's check. Which choice provides the best evidence for the answers to the previous question? So your luck starts and you have got the line numbers. So once you have got the line numbers, what you have to do is go to the lines, check your answers and find the right answer, and then check the previous answers or previous questions answer too. So that makes your work easy. So if you have this kind of questions, it is very easy to make sure that around, if you both the pairs, the pair questions, both of them are right, and you might have the answers right. Okay, so let's go to question number 9. As used in the line 73, hypothetical most nearly means. Now, whenever we have a question like this, we have to go to the question, line number, and then we will mark it and then see what does hypothetical mean. Now, we have already, underlined the hypothetical bone structure, so I don't think you really have to worry about it. This is basically the vocabulary based, contextual vocabulary based questions where you have to understand the meaning of the word. Now, what is it that you're going to do? You're going to start your work from line number 71 and 72, and then you come to 73, find the hypothetical word there, and then go down to 74 and 75. That's where your answers are, your query is complete. Now here, based on the information, now this is based on the information in the above passage, which statement describes the relationship between Stromer's and Ibrahim's fossil work with fossils. So now based on the information is given, so let's check if we have if they are a paired question. I'm sorry, it's not a paired question, it's a singular question, so you have to rely on your flowchart now. So I hope all of you understood the different kinds of questions and the different kinds of strategies that you need to use to complete one to complete your passage, and how you are going to go about it. So please understand that you have to strategize your way of work, and you have to understand that you really can score 10 on 10 questions right. If at all, even if you miss, I have given you how to find the answers, how to arrange your flow chart, and how to underline the important words in the passage, and how to go about the complete thing. So I don't think it requires, these are basically scientific passages. So scientific passages are easier and they're interesting too, because they talk about something. They are basically informative passages. They describe about something, about some research or about something. So they're mostly a lot of descriptive topics. So you don't have to worry, you don't have to panic, because they're basically those questions anybody can, and anybody with some effort, they can definitely score an 8 or a 9 on this kind of passages. And you will have 2 scientific passages in your complete test. So don't have to worry, you will have 20 questions minimum. It could be around 19 or 21 questions that will be really easy for you to complete, because they would be definitely either they would be 2 paired, they would be a part of the paired passages, where you will have a singular topic with different perspectives, and both of them could be scientific, or they could be 2 different scientific passages given individually. So you will definitely have, for sure, you will have 2 scientific passages in your test. And scientific passages gives you lots of information. So mind you are not there to collect the information, you are just there to make sure that all this information does not belizzle you, and you don't get panic, you don't baffle, and you don't start panicking around. You just have to stay calm, underline the sentences, because this is a pen and paper test, so you have the liberty to use your pencil and underline it. create the flow chart. It is really going to help you if you create your flow chart, and then you can also create your own, what is it called, you can create your own strategies. These are some of the strategies that were, beaten paths that I am explaining it to you, or I am suggesting. So you can also have your own path. You can also create your own path to make sure that you have your answers right. The ultimate thing is that you need to have your answers right. So which strategy you use to ace it is up to you, but these are some of the kinds of work that we have done. And apart from that, I would also suggest you to just read rather than just trying to answer the questions. I would first suggest that you should read a lot. When you read a lot of questions, so you are really going to be better. Okay, so I will just give you 2 minutes time so that you can just have a look at all the. I'll take you to the beginning of the passage, and probably we could start looking at the whole thing. You could read the passage on your own. I hope it is visible. You can create your own flow chart. Now we are going to talk about eliminating the passages, wrong answers. Now we are going to the first question. Which of the following best summarizes the central idea of this passage? You can tick your first answer. Now we are going to talk about the paleontologists were able to identify a new species of dinosaurs overcoming a series of obstacles. Now always learn to keep aside those that might sound right. Okay. So let us keep A aside. Yes, they were able to identify a new species with Nizar Ibrahim and his colleagues working on it, and the red line, they definitely had understood a new species of dinosaurs were recovered. The second option says most dinosaur fossils are found in pieces and must be reconstructed using the latest technology. I don't think that was the central idea of this passage. Yes, they definitely they require restructuring, but I don't think that is the idea behind this passage. So I think we can eliminate this option. One more thing that I would like to tell you is that please, any answer that comes outside of this premise, this passage is the premise, and all the answers should come from this premise. Any answer that comes outside this premise, or which is most obvious but it is not given in the passage, it is not the right answer. We discussed about this before, but I would like to reiterate it so that you understand it and you don't forget it. So guys, if you are you have to check whatever is in the premise of your question, of your passage. You cannot have an answer even if it is the most obvious thing, but if it is not given here, it is not the answer. The second thing is, in IELTS exam, you have this thing not given. You don't have that option in this SAT. So if it is not given, it is not given. So we are not going to take that option. And please, if something looks as the most obvious answer and you find that, I have seen this here and there, always be clear that is not the right answer. Because this is a SAT test, it is not a normal English test which is trying to see your English skills, but it is a comprehensive test. It is a prometric test that is going to give insight. It is going to give insight about your thinking process and how fast you can process information. So guys, don't forget that before ticking the right answer, have these things on your mind scrolling so that you don't jump into the soup. So let's see what is the next answer. So what is the next option? We have 4 options, out of which we have put aside B, A. The B does not look the most obvious answer, so we are going to cross it out. The first evidence of the Spinosaurus was uncovered by German paleontologist Ernst Stromer. Yes, it was given in the beginning of the passage, but it is not the central idea. They expressed it in the beginning of the passage, and they did not talk about Stromer anymore. So we were talking about how they reconstructed, and how they got the things back, and how they were doing. So that is more important. Okay, so this is not the right option. The last one is the fossils of an aquatic dinosaur called the Spinosaurus were first found in Egypt in the early 20th century. I don't think the whole passage is about that. Am I clear? So yeah, they have got something, but the whole passage does not revolve around that. The whole passage revolves around how Ernest got it, and how he lost it, and how a Moroccan person gave it to Nizar Ibrahim, and how Ibrahim and his colleagues worked on it. They took it to University of Casablanca and worked on it, and then some people in Italy, they were working on the same structure. So that is more important. So we need to understand that. So therefore this is not the right answer, and we stick to this as the right answer. Okay, let's go to the next question. Now here we were talking about the same about the age, and I told you that we already have the thing here. So we are going to talk about, according to the passage, the fossils Stromer found in the Egyptian desert were, what we have understood is, they said that it was 97 to 112 million years prior. Okay, so younger and smaller than he expected? No, that is not the right answer. Let's eliminate as much as possible so that we can narrow down on the right answer. Younger and larger than he expected? They were not younger, because they got it 97 years to 112 million years prior. So both these options that has younger are out. The next 2 answers are older and smaller, and older and larger. Now he has particularly said that it was more larger skeleton. So definitely we go with D, and to be precise, factual questions are more easier, because we just have to scan the text and we just have to go and take the thing. They are not like the central theme or the purpose of the passage questions, which require much thought. So let's go to the next question. Here the question is based on the information in the passage. Now this is basically a paired question. We have already gone through this. So let's see the options, and then let's go to the next part of the question, and then let's see we can find the answers or not. So this is basically based on the information in the passage. The author would most likely agree that aquatic dinosaurs that were more vicious than dinosaurs that lived on land. Too much emphasis is placed on creating realistic models of ancient dinosaurs. I don't think they were referring to that. Aquatic dinosaurs were more vicious than dinosaurs that lived on land. I don't think that they were referring to that. The second one also does not seem well. Most mysteries presented by randomly found fossils are unlikely to be solved, but we have solved it, so we are not going to take that answer also. Therefore, what remains is number D. The study of fossils and ancient life provides important scientific insights. I think this is right, because Stromer had already read about it. He has drawn pictures about it. He has made sketches, and he has put some notes. So definitely the study of fossils and ancient life definitely gives scientific insights, because based on that, Ibrahim and his colleagues could make out something better. So therefore, though we have not gone down to the lines paired question, we did not go down to the paired question. We just tried solving it here, and we could very much feel that these were not the things that they were referring to. But if you would want to go to the next question and then come back here, you are most welcome, because you can do that also. Okay, that will be easier because you have to go back, but because we made a flow chart and we understood that now this is where the flow chart is really going to help you, because when we are making the flow chart, we can see that when we are making the flow chart, we are going to write something like this and write it here, or we are going to underline something on the essay. So what is going to happen is, you really just have to whenever you have to see this, you can just see your notes on near the flow chart, and then you can just go there and check your answer. If you get your answer, you can just tick which line numbers actually verify that answer. Okay, so that is how. So because this answer was comparatively easier, and we could find out the answer, well and good, we did not have to come to the lines. But if at all you are not able to find out an answer, you are always welcome to read the lines and find your answer, and then go back and take the right answer. Okay, for C, for number 3, the answer is D, and for 4, let's see, we are talking about the line number, so we have to understand what it is. So let's go to the line numbers 12 and 15. We have to go to the first page, 12 and 15. We are talking about the author would most likely agree to, it was 12 and 15. So here, after careful consideration, he announced that he had discovered a new genus of sauropod, or a large four-legged herbivore with a long neck. He called the genus Aegyptosaurus, which is a Greek for Egyptian lizard. One of this Aegyptosaurus he claimed was the Spinosaurus. Now this is for 12 to 15, and the question goes like this. So the study of fossils definitely gives deep insights. So did you get the answer in line 12 to 15 or from 18 to 12? Let's see. So the next, definitely 12 to 15, they were just describing about the fossil that they got. So definitely I don't think from 12 to 15 is the right answer. Let's go down. Let's read from 18 to 22. Probably we can get the right answer. So one of these Aegyptosaurus he claimed was the Spinosaurus. Tragically, the fossils that supported his claims were destroyed during a raid on Munich by the Royal Air Force during World War II. So now the study of fossils and ancient life provides important, but here he says the scientific world was left with Stromer's notes and sketches, but no hard evidence that the Spinosaurus ever existed. So now you see that the study of fossils and ancient life provides important insights is got in 18 to line number 18 to 22. So that's the answer. Let's go to line number 36 and find this answer, against all odds. So now here we are going to talk about against all odds in line number 36. In the beginning we have already marked it, and now we are going to, let's see, go to the first two lines and read it. An important clue was hidden in the cross section they were examining, as it contained the same red line Ibrahim had seen in Morocco. Against all odds, the Italians were studying bones that belonged to the very same skeleton as the bones Ibrahim received in the desert. And let us see what are the options. By contrast, so here we understood that this we have chosen because though in this option we got the sketch, I mean we got the figure, I mean we could figure out how the dinosaur looked, but there was nothing that spoke about scientific study or insight for future. But in the second one, 18 to 22, we talk about Stromer keeping a notes of the thing and then leaving the pictures, sketches. So that definitely was helpful in Ibrahim's research. So that is why that is the right answer. Coming down, we are going to talk about the against all odds. Here we are going to talk about how we are going to find the right answer. So therefore we have eliminated C and D because we already found our right answer in the B itself. That also clarifies that the previous answer number 3, D is the right answer. Now coming to number 5, we will see that against all odds, we see that in line number 36, here we have read from 34, rather I started from 33 because the line started from here and I have come almost till here, that is line number 36, 7 and 8, so that I could complete the complete sentence and then I could read. Against all odds here by I should say by contrast definitely is not the right answer, so I remove it. At the exact same time, so no, against all odds we are not talking about that because they have not retrieved the thing immediately, so at the same time is not the right answer. To their dismay, no. To their dismay, because they did not expect anything, so there is no question that they will have dismay also, so this also goes. Therefore, only thing that is left is D, and in D, against all odds means despite low probability actually have a similar meaning, so we go with this. So this is how you are going to get your answers, and this is how you are going to eliminate the wrong options, eliminate the options, and then how you are going to zero down your options so that you get to the right answer. So this is how you are going to make a flow chart. This is how you are going to underline the important words in a passage. That is really going to help you configure as to how you are going. And if you use the techniques that I have told you till now, I am not doing the rest of the questions because they also have the similar kind of an technique. I use a similar kind of a technique, so I am not doing the rest of the questions, but this is how the whole thing goes. So guys, pull your socks and start working on it, and it is a skill. Please understand, it is a skill and you have to practice it. It is not going to happen just like that. It's not some magic that will happen, and start working on it, and definitely you will be able to work better, score better, and definitely go to your dream college. Okay, that's for today. Thank you so much. I hope this class was informative and you understood what I was trying to tell you, and I hope this will be useful for your future. Thank you so much, guys. It was really lovely, giving this session. Thank you.